Hi, Jenna.
Hi. How are you?
Pleasure to meet you.
You too.
Very well. Have a seat, please.
Thank you.
Welcome to the Prime Minister's office.
Thank you very much. It's very nice to be here.
No, thank you. Thank you for your interest.
I'm feeling really grateful to be able to have a conversation with you. I was thinking a lot about today, and there's so much things that I would really want to say, and but mostly I want to just convey to you that, it's not easy. The everyday juggling of priorities for families is getting more and more difficult, and my family and I identify ourselves as being that middle class that you talk so much about, and we're just really kind of wanting to know that the policies that you're putting forth, like the tax break and the new child benefit, are they just incentives that are going to be temporary, not really lasting and really impacting families, or are they going to be solid systemic programs that are going to be there in the future for our kids?
It's a great question, Jenna. One of the things, first of all, where it came from was I spent a lot of time meeting with people just like you, with families just like yours, right across the country to talk about what this country needed and what families like yours needed. And there's no question that over quite a long while, the cost of living has risen while incomes have sort of stalled. And we need a boost, particularly, as you say, for the middle class in this country. There hasn't been enough growth that has benefited you and people like you. And that's what we have to turn around. So we looked at 3 different things that are going to make a difference in that, and they're not just temporary blips, they're real shifts. The first one is lowering taxes in that second income bracket. On income from $45,000 to $89,000, we're lowering taxes so that on every paycheck you get a little more money, a little less is taken off, and we're paying for that by asking the wealthiest 1%, people who make over $200,000, to pay a little bit more in taxes. And that kicked in as of January 1st. But the next big one is the CCB, our new Canada Child Benefit, that actually gives more benefits to the families who need it, to 9 out of 10 families, by not giving it, again, to families that make over $200,000 a year. And that's real money every month, tax-free, that's going to help with the cost of you have one child?
One little guy. He's 3 years old.
3 years old.
And I went on your website and I did that calculator and I looked at potentially what my family could receive going forward, and it worked out to about $840 more than what we're getting now. Yeah. But for our family, that's 1 month of childcare costs. Yeah. And I'm just kind of wondering, why wasn't there a plan that, made childcare affordable across the board for everybody?
Well, and that's the third part. The first part was the tax break, the second part is the CCB, and the third part is massive investments in infrastructure. Public transit to help get to and from work. I know in Ajax, public transit is a real issue.
Yep.
So I've spoken with a lot of people. Green infrastructure is the second one that's going to make a difference in terms of clean jobs and clean growth. But social infrastructure, we're talking about $20 billion of investment over the next 10 years, working with provinces on their priorities. So provinces that need more childcare spaces, that's what we're going to start working with. We want to make sure that people actually have the kind of support necessary to be able to work and raise a family and get that balance right. Now, government can't do everything, yep. But we can certainly give more help than we have been doing in the past, and that's not just about helping people through time when money's tight. It's about investing in the future as well. It's investing in the future of your little guy. It's giving you the tools to be able to succeed as fully as you can.
Right. And that's really heartening to hear. My profession as a social worker, every single day, it's a new challenge where, resources are limited, wait lists are longer, and families need more help. And, not only do I carry my story with you, to you today, but I carry the stories of so many people that I work with on a regular basis who really are looking and doing their part, but looking for their government to step up and, you know, increase the quality of living for them as well too.
Well, I couldn't agree more. One of the things I have the honor of representing, riding of Papineau, which is a riding with real economic challenges in Montreal, like so many parts of the country. And one of the things I did from the very beginning, 8 years ago as an MP, was to go out and talk with all the different community groups, the organizations. I just trying to make sure that they're helping the people who most need it, while at the same time the people working for those organizations, people working in social work, are struggling to make ends meet at the same time, even as they're helping so many other people. And that's where I just want to recognize how extraordinary Canadians can be in terms of how we help each other and how we support each other. And it's about time we had a federal government that does that too.
I agree.
The fact is, a lot of what you do is run by the provinces, but the provinces are tapped out with education and healthcare costs. We need a federal government that's going to be a partner and there to invest, and that's certainly what I'm focused on.
And that's really good to hear. Forgive me if we're a little bit skeptical, because we haven't seen much change in so long, and so we're really looking to you to step up and not just tiptoe that status quo line and really stand out with those issues and really invest in those social systems and those social structures, because they're going to be there, not just for myself, but for my son. And every day I think about that, how we can, my husband and I make his life, better than ours. And I'm sure you think about that with your family too. You have young children, and but for us, we feel like if it costed you a little bit more to, give them those things, you could do that. But my family doesn't have that same privilege, and so, I'm coming here today with a lot of hope, and really just want to evoke, some empathy and some compassion on your part, and that sense of, that you would have that sense of responsibility and authenticity that you promote so much, and being accountable to us.
I'm the first person to say that I grew up really lucky. I mean, my dad sat in that desk for the first 13 years of my life, and I had amazing opportunities and amazing chances in life. And all my life, what I've been focused on is trying to justify retroactively the incredible luck that I had of the schools I went to, the opportunities I had, the things my family didn't have to worry about. I mean, every family has worries, and we had tragedies and we had tough times, but I recognize how lucky I was, and therefore trying to do right by the country, by the world that had given me so much, is what drove me into teaching and what now drives me into politics. So everything I do is to try and focus on creating the greatest possible opportunity for everyone, for your son, for your future kids, hopefully, and for my kids. People ask me about sort of the work-life balance, which is really tough in everyone's life. I mean, this is just the reality. And people say, okay, but you're on 24 hours a day, Justin, you're traveling on the road. I say, yes, I am. But I remember always that I'm not doing this work in spite of the fact that I have kids. I'm doing it because I have kids. We're doing what we do because we were trying to create a better future for them. And quite frankly, that's the only thing that justifies the sacrifices that all of us make every day to try and create a better life for our kids. And how I can help with government at giving that boost that means that you're going to be that much more successful and that your son's future is going to be that much brighter is quite frankly at the center of why I do this job.
Okay, that's good. And I just want you to know that we're watching, and we're hoping that maybe you won't remember me, maybe you will, but if you could think of us that do the work every single day on the ground. And we're just, doing the best that we can, and we're hoping that, today's a new day, and that our government's going to recognize that and do the same.
Jenna, quite frankly, the day I forget about you and your family and all the people like you is the day I'm no longer worthy of sitting in that chair. That's what that's what I was sent here to do. This is what people put their trust in me to try and deliver on, and we're going to. It's not going to be easy, and it's not going to go as smoothly as we'd all love it to,
Right.
me included. But we're going to make real difference, moving in the right direction for the people who need the help, and that's exactly what I'm focused on.
And if I could just ask you, one last question.
Of course.
With all of this said, what are your thoughts about, poverty in Canada? We're a first world country and we have so much, and it's so unfortunate that, we see such high numbers of poverty, and, we look across, the waters at other countries who, are doing more, socially for their citizens. What are you doing to combat poverty?
Well, food bank usage is going up, we know that, and what our focus has always been on is middle class and folks who are working hard to join the middle class, because unless you have that ladder of opportunity, unless you have that sense that the future can be better, which a lot of people are worried about right now, we're worried that the next generation might not have greater opportunities or quality of life than the previous one. So that's where the Canada Child Benefit actually hits the level that poverty activists have always said you need to give in terms of young children, for them to have an equal playing field to grow on. Whether it's looking at seniors living in poverty and how we're going to support them, or just create growth that is accessible to all through strong education systems and investment in a healthcare system that actually works, and the social services that we need so that we can succeed. These are the things that I'm focused on.
Well, thank you very much for your time, and we hope that this isn't just flirting with people and getting winning their hearts, and we don't get stood up, but we get a government that's gonna stand up for us.
It's about the hard work we're going to do together.
Thank you so much. It was really nice to meet you.
It's a pleasure to meet you as well.
Take care.
Thanks.
Thanks, Jenna.